particularly branching off of social media, not only like me, like I've had my experiences with it, but a lot of friends, a lot of, other peers and everybody had mentioned that I'm getting anxious, like I'm dealing with a lot of anxiety, or there have been times where I've been anxious about the future. There was this lovely thing that you mentioned. You actually broke down the way to actually combat anxiety is to understand the definition of anxiety.
Yeah.
And I'll just let you continue it, because I think you explained it in a really good way.
So before we start, there is one clarity which I need to make. So anxiety syndrome is not what a life coach helps you with.
Right.
So anything which is related to your past traumas, childhood, adolescent, adulthood, that needs better therapists to help you with.
Mm-hmm.
A life coach helps you with future anxiety, not your past anxiety. So future anxiety, when there is distance, your mind is in your future and your body is in the present.
Mm-hmm.
When you're imagining the worst case scenarios, like if I have to come on this podcast, it's the first time for me, so I'll be very anxious how I'm going to do it. But if I give my mind a logical explanation, okay, I have to go for a podcast, I'm in control, I've done my bits of readiness and I'm here. So my mind will understand it and it will not escalate the anxiety. It will be controllable. But people go through severe anxieties which needs help, which you can seek for therapists. Sometimes clients do come to us, and if we realize that we cannot provide them help, we do guide them to therapist. But anxiety on normal ways can be controllable, because if you give your mind a logical explanation, like your mind is like an alarm system, smoke alarm system. So if there is a fire in the house or the toast has burnt, it's going to go in flight and fight rescue system.
Correct.
But when you tell your mind it's just a burnt toast, it's a logical explanation you're giving to mind, it's controllable, it will understand. And your anxiety won't escalate. It will stop there and there. But house on fire, here also, if you give your mind an explanation, it's controllable. I have taken the fire extinguisher or the fire brigade has come. You've given your mind a logical explanation, it's controllable. So when you give your mind a logical explanation to it, your anxiety won't escalate. So how does these anxious thoughts come into play? First, you have to understand these are thoughts, not facts. They are not reality. They are some scenarios, memories, experiences which are making you jump to the worst case scenarios. If I do this, this is going to be the worst come worst. So your anxiety escalates. Then is overgeneralization, where you overgeneralize a situation. You went for an interview, you didn't click. I'm not able to get a job. I will never be able to get a job. I'm not even good at relationship. I'm not even earning enough money. And that is how you proceed. Overgeneralization. As social media is one of our topic. So social media, 49 comments are good. 1 comment is bad. Downward spiral starts again. So you remember these are thoughts, and thoughts are not fact and reality. The other way which you can combat anxiety is, it is in the place of fear. Whenever you're fearful, anxiety is going to come. So you tell yourself, I'm excited. I'm excited to give the speech. I'm excited to dance, to perform. And that is how you keep telling yourself, and the fear goes away. And lastly is square breathing.
Okay. So I believe, you mentioned square breathing. Can you just explain a little more about square breathing for anxiety particularly, so, they can get an insight on, say, if they are having an anxious experience, how do they really use square breathing to kind of alleviate that? So yeah, I believe the aspect of square breathing, if you could really break it down for our audience, like how if somebody was dealing with an anxious episode or something that has really shot up their emotions twofold, how can they use square breathing to actually calm themselves down and really step out of that feeling?
Yeah, we can do that. So basically, whenever you're anxious, you get your focus on your breath. And then you focus on something that is square, like a window panel, your computer screen, or your mobile phone. You get your eyes to the left-hand side corner. You inhale for 4 counts. Keep the breath, hold for 4 seconds. Then you exhale for 4 seconds. And you hold again for 4 seconds. This way you do 2 or 3 cycles of square breathing. You form a square in your mind. And you inhale, exhale, hold. That is how you move forward. So it gets your breath to become calmer and focus on the present again. And that's how you control your anxious thoughts.
Wow. actually didn't know that there was actually a way, because I think a lot of anxiety kind of healing techniques are to do with like your surroundings and really finding yourself in the present moment. But this is a beautiful way to actually, perceive, how our breathing plays a big role in bettering our anxious thoughts and anxious feelings. So moving on to the next point, that we are in a state of where people are too exceedingly procrastinative. Like they excessively a lot of the times do find themselves in a place where they're like, okay, I will work for a certain amount of time and then I want to give myself a break, and that break goes on for like 2-3 hours. And it's usually when we are really it usually doesn't even happen like knowingly. A lot of people do it unconsciously because they feel like they deserve that break for a certain amount of time, but they don't know where to stop and they don't know where to draw the line. So what is your take on understanding procrastination as a whole?
So when you say that it's unintentionally, so procrastination does start unintentionally, but it is active. You are purposely choosing of not doing that. So it is active. It's not same as laziness. Laziness is you're completely unmotivated, unwillingness to do anything. But procrastination, you're choosing on purpose of not doing it, knowing it's going to have its repercussion. Like if you're at a task at a hand and you don't do it on purposely, it's going to come with its cost. Right. You're not going to fulfill your goals. You have to remind yourself of the cost you're going to pay. You're not going to live the life you've dreamt about. And when you procrastinate very often, it does affect your self-esteem issues. It does affect your confidence because you keep telling your mind, we'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it next day, आधे घंटे बाद, 1 घंटे बाद. So you're not keeping the promises you've made to yourself. So your confidence goes down, bang, I'll not be able to do it anytime. So many a times, when people procrastinate, it's because they find either the task is too boring or unimportant, or they find it's too challenging for them, or they find that they will not be able to give their best shot to it. That is when you procrastinate. But you have to understand that procrastination will not take you anywhere. You will lose on. We all procrastinate, where you must have taken a 1 week break. I would have taken a 1 week break, and that's okay. Because sometimes you want to get creative, take that break, and get more creative about what solutions you need. But you come back to your routine. You do not completely just lie down on the couch and not do anything about it. So how can you beat that? Is basically a 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. It works amazingly. So whenever you have an idea or task in your mind, you tell yourself 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and you move. So any moment you do, your thought has changed. And that is when you do the task.
Right.
If you do not do that in that 5-second gap, you will not be doing the task for that day.
Right.
Second, what you can do is 2 minutes rule. When you want to start a new habit, people procrastinate, I want to go to the gym. And you don't land up going to the gym for a month. So what we do over here is we make a 2-minute rule. Make the habit so easy that it takes less than 2 minutes. So your habit of going to gym becomes wear your sports shoes. So for 1 week, you're just wearing your sports shoes. Initially, you will only say, if I'm wearing it, let me walk for 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So then you walk for 10 minutes. Then you do 1,000 steps. Then you do 5,000 steps. That is how you build a new habit when you're procrastinating. So that you have to make your task as easy and available as it is. So procrastination, nowadays people think they deserve a break. It's not wrong. But you have to see to it, what is it costing you? Is it costing you your position, what you worked so hard for? Is it costing you your dream life? Is it costing you your vacation, what you've dreamt? Because then there will be workload. So what is it cost which you're paying?
Right. That's a lovely way to actually get yourself back on task.
So one of the best way to see what it's costing you is you record yourself for the day, for a week, and you will see how much energy are you doing in doing the task or just wasting it around. You will be shocked how much you could have done in that 1 week's time. So you record yourself.
It's an interesting way, because I feel a lot of times when we neglect our work or neglect our task, it is a lot to do with us enjoying those 10, 15, 20 minutes of freedom and that sense of just relaxing and stepping away from doing any work itself. And it doesn't only have to be like proper like studies or work or something in particular. A lot of the times it's also like when we feel like this is better than that. Like me laying on this bed relaxing for 5 more minutes will give me more joy than me actually finishing up that work or covering up for that client or getting that work done, because one will actually help you get some compounding work for a return on that investment of time that you put in, and the other isn't really going to give you any gain. And I feel like that is something that people need to really integrate into their lives or their mindset. Brilliant. So like the next point that I want to segue into particularly is like today, because we are in a state of a lot of transactional relationships, a lot of them being whether it's work relationships, familial, romantic relationships. In that transactional relationships, there are certain moments or certain incidents where it really leaves an impact. Say whether it's a fight, whether it's whether it's an argument, whether it's like really misconception of something that somebody said, it really leaves an imprint on you. And a lot of times, people also approach life coaches in terms of, say, a grudge that they can't let go of, or they can't move on from a person, or they can't move on from an event, or they can't just the aspect of letting go. Because as easy and as frivolous as the word thrown around, it's not that easy to actually sit in that feeling and let go and feel whatever you're feeling and kind of let go of that. And because it's kind of like a heavy topic, how would you really approach the aspect of letting go when it comes to individuals?
So I can explain this with an example if you want. So if somebody's come to your home, thrown garbage in your house, are you going to keep it? Or you're going to throw it away or take it very smilingly and like keep it for months and years with you?
No.
You wouldn't do that. So, but you keep that shit in your mind. And then you let it sit. You also sit with it. You go through it, and then it starts to stink and attract more nuisances in your life. Because you are at that vibrational frequency where you're continuously thinking about it and attracting more of those.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the easiest way is, okay, you sit with it for a time and then you let go of it, because it's like you're drinking poison to your own self, harming your body with it. Like if I have to get your attention to, when you hold negative thoughts for too long, it would be for the two reasons. Either the person has not behaved the way you wanted him to behave or did what you wanted him to do, or you're blaming yourself. The two reasons for never letting go and not forgiving anybody else. So first, just because the person didn't behave the way you wanted to behave doesn't make him wrong. Okay, there are times when certain people come in your life, they become very important to you, but they've come for a lesson. That part is done. Now they leave away. Imagine your life like a rocket. As you go to certain frequency, certain parts stop to fall. So as they are falling off, they are those peoples which are no help to you anymore. And then you're meeting around new people. Like when you're in galaxy, more higher. So you make new environments. So this is how you deal. That certain people came in your life to teach you certain lesson, to be around during that season. And when I was talking about negativity, when you hold too much of negativity, it starts showing in your physical body. Because you're continuously going through those thoughts. The other person has forgotten it, but you have kept hold of it. So when you hold resentment, too much of resentment, it starts eating away in your body. To the worst case scenario, we've studied, it does form cancer also in you. If you're completely always in the criticizing mode, you're always criticizing other people for their not being good or not being too much enough for you, you get arthritis. When you have too much of guilt and shame, you put yourself continuously through guilt. Oh, you would have done this better. This is your mistake. And you are in the shame all the time. You get a lot of pain in your body. Then there are various, like if you have back problems, you think nobody is supporting you properly, emotionally, financially. And constipation, nowadays people are highly constipated because they are not okay with letting go of the past. They hold on to the past so strictly that you just stop all the channels of movement in your body. Like neck stiffness has become very common because people don't want to see other people's point of view. You're just looking straight all the time. I am correct, I am right. You're not turning left, right. That is where the stiffness comes in.
Right.
So you have to understand that negativity and not letting go will damage your body more than the other person. So when you get the person's attention, okay, a client comes to me, he says me, there is a lot of pain in my body, I cannot sleep in the night. So my first question is, which guilt are you carrying? What guilt are you carrying? Why are you shameful for? And that's get you thinking. And then you connect the dots back again. Oh, from that moment the pain started to come. And one of the best way to remind yourself is, do you like that person that much? If the person comes tomorrow back in your life, are you ready to take that person? After the fight? No, you won't. Then why are you wanting that attention from him again? Will you take advice from that person if you're going through bad times in your life? So then why take his insults?
True.
So these are basic things and perspective which you can get to your mind when you're going through a bad phase. That how it's affecting your mental health and how you can understand that this person is not my priority. Just because he's told me something, I'm letting him stay in my mind and, be it around. He's not even that important to me anymore. He's not even my priority. But my world is just revolving around it.
It's lovely that you said, these kind of mental blockages or these aspects really cause like a disruption on like a surface level also, because a lot of the times people don't want to address it because they feel addressing it is either not worthy their time or, holding this grudge or keeping this kind of feeling and that is keeping them blocked and stuck is something that they don't feel like it's something that should be solved. And that's why they don't want to give their energy to it, or they don't want to actually release.
Yeah, because people love to stay in the victim mindset.
Right.
So if I have to say, tomorrow, if there is a movie of your life, do you want to be the victim or do you want to be the hero? That's I asked my client. Yeah. And that's what they answer. I want to be the hero. So no more victim mindset, no more blaming other people. And that's how you let go, because it's not going to be easy. It's going to take time. Nothing is going to be easy. Letting go is also not going to be easy. You need to practice. You need to get your focus on what needs healing. Because when a person comes and tells you something, it is more about them than about you. But if it triggered you, it give you that reaction where you are yelling and all, means something needs to be healed inside you. Something needs to be fixed. Otherwise, that person is speaking rubbish. It doesn't matter to me. But when you're reacting, you're giving that justification, means something inside is amiss. So you need to heal that. You need to react less and respond more. That's how you develop a habit of responding.
I think a lot of key takeaways from this segment particularly. And I feel also just before moving on to the next part, whoever is going through something and whoever is feeling like they have certain blockages within themselves, please address it, because it's a world of difference on the other side of the coin. So yes, I think moving to the last segment and the last part of the podcast, we spoke about how one can kind of find themselves back to them, like to their true selves if they feel lost. Reconnecting with yourself and the people around you when you feel lost. And we are in a day and age where I've heard from a lot of people that, okay, I feel lost. I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like there is this, I don't know where I'm going. And that kind of lack of clarity is what, again, is a spiral down to anxiety and worry. And, it goes on and on. So just understanding why we are in a state where, like, especially in this day and age, why do we feel lost so many times? And is there because there is a literal void, or is it, something that our brain or our point of view is making up? And if so, then how do we deal with it?
So many times, people feel this void. They feel that if I do something, it will not be up to the mark. I'll waste too much of money and knowledge. I don't have those skills which I need to do. They have these notions and beliefs which need to be worked upon. You have your certain limiting beliefs, So if you realize that these beliefs need to be worked upon, you seek for help and support. And certain things which you can do for yourself is, if you're in the middle of conversation and you feel suddenly lost, you can do deep breathing, which helps you calm your breath and gets your mind back to the present. You can change your posture. There are low power pose, there are high power pose. So low power pose is when, if I'm talking to you, if I'm slouched with my head down and I talk to you, the energy will be very bad. You will not enjoy being around the person.
Right.
But instead of a high power pose, where I sit with my shoulders erect, there is a smile on my face, you have to do this. You have to fake it to make your work. Because you cannot be doing, the energy is going to change when you do the high power pose. You're going to enjoy the conversation. So only correcting your body posture will change your mind. Imagine.
Right.
So you can literally call in depression. Like, if imagine you're sitting on a rocking chair, thinking you're not good enough and nothing is working in my favor, you continuously think that thoughts, you are going to be in a depressed state. So people do that with themselves. So there is no ifs and buts about it. You have to take the action. You have to move out of it. You cannot sit and just say, I can't do anything. If you don't do anything, nothing is going to change. Then you can do some guided meditations also. You can go for a walk in nature, reconnect, walk without slippers in the grass to feel more grounded, more attached to your energy.
Right.
But this all requires commitment. One day is not going to give you any change. If you do for a day, okay, breathing will help you focus, guided meditation will get back to you. But if you want lasting changes, you need to form a habit. Like, you can start your mornings with Smarty mornings. So this is an acronym what I've given. So S is for silence. Like, if you're getting up, imagine for 7:30, you get up at by 6:45, half an hour before. You sit in silence for 5 minutes. You don't do anything. Just close your eyes and sit in. You can lie down also on your bed and just for 5 minutes, you let your mind be awakened. Then M is for the mind movie, where you play a movie in your mind with a desire, with an end goal. For 5 minutes or 2 minutes as it's comfortable for you. Basic visualization. Oh, how am I going to look when I'm going to start with my day? How my end day is going to look, basically. And then there is words of affirmations. How you talk to your own self. Am I good enough? Okay, today I'm going to be in full energy. Today I'm in control. That is how you talk to yourself. Then, Thanksgiving. You thank people, express gratitude of what's working for you. Not even people, things what are working in your favor, what you've achieved last night and today. That is what you can thank yourself for. And lastly comes exercise. See, exercise can be according to you for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But if you cannot do that much, at least for 10 minutes, you do blood boosting exercises like spot jogging, high jumps, jump and jacks, which increases your energy levels. If you become this as your habit, your morning changes, so your entire day changes. But this has to be a habit. It cannot be a one day. Most of the times, you don't have to change what you're doing. You have to change the things, how you're doing them, how you're talking to them, how are you speaking to your own self, how are you spending your mornings, what kind of company are you keeping. These small actions are going to make major difference in your life. So you always have to focus on the action rather than the outcome of the action. That's going to make you feel better and in sync with yourself.
Right. Thank you so much for that insightful, segment. There were a lot of takeaways, a lot of understandings. And I feel like going further, I would also like to explore more in this space because, as you mentioned, that this is a much more expanded, vast workshop that you provide. So brilliant. Just before wrapping up, I want to give you the floor to just kind of share with the audience actually where they can find you, maybe if any social media handles that you have. And yeah.
Okay, so my Instagram page, Insta handle is the New You with Neelam. And You can find me there. You can book a Zoom call or an audio call. Anything is fine.
Brilliant. It was lovely having you here today.
Thank you so much.
Let's create some another project soon.
Yes, definitely looking forward to. It was great to be here and being a part in your journey where you are helping people live their best life. So it's amazing to be a part of.
Hope it comes in handy for someone.
Surely.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.